When I last lived in Moscow, which is not so long ago, I had a flat which was quite close to the Kremlin and allowed me to walk every morning past the Moscow Arts Theatre, which of course I greatly enjoyed as somebody with a theatre background. Now, the Moscow Arts Theatre was where Chekhov developed his skills and where Stanislavski uh, established what became the method in America, this idea that what you say is not necessarily what you mean. And in the case of Mr. Putin's speech, this is very much of importance because Mr. Putin's speech is all about the mobilization of reservists. It's all about defending the plans, about escalating the war. It's about repeating the ideas about neo-Nazis, about the various brigades in Ukraine, about the NATO threat, and so on, and about taking the war into Russia itself. All of which is the sort of Russian propaganda that we've heard spouted on television programs across Russia over the last 6 months. And as I've said many, many times ago, the sort of television propaganda that is put out across Russia is not to be given any credence. I know about Russian propaganda. I have been on Russian TV programs, and my voice has been dubbed with words that I never even said. And they thought they'd get away with it, particularly on a program run by, I can't even remember her name now, Zainalova. And so even for things which are modest and not important, they lie. So for things which they think are important, of course they lie. Russian propaganda is a routine machine. It's not even something which is specially designed for this war. It is routine. They've been practicing it for years. I called them out. They weren't interested. For anybody who wants to find out, all you have to do is put my name and then Russian dubbing into the internet, and you will find the articles. As for this idea that saying one thing and meaning another, Mr. Putin is clearly setting up plans to legally defend using nuclear weapons, either on the battlefield, but I think more worryingly, further afield. His last threat is that Russia has modern weapons, more recent weapons than the West, better weapons than the West, and he's referring specifically to a nuclear bomb which can travel much further and more silently and be undetected and do a great deal of harm. I think this is a threat against the West. I think it's a threat actually against Europe, possibly against us. And it's being made just before the UN assembles to discuss raising further money for Ukraine. We, of course, are represented by Liz Truss, that doyen of competence. I find this extremely worrying. So when people turn round and say it's all hot air, or that Russia's partial mobilization, as Ben Wallace has said, is a sign that Russia is losing, or that the Kremlin is losing, that's not the point. He's concentrating on what Putin has said, not what Putin means. Putin is setting up a checkmate situation where he can press the nuclear button. I'm sorry to be so direct about it.